How to be after cheating. Reasons for cheating. What to do if you have children. Treason. There's so much pain in one word. When you learn about his wife's infidelity, in the head swarms 1,000 thoughts, and at the same time as if empty. And if women in similar situations can share with friends, wash all the bones, unfaithful spouse, the man, most often, is left with the problem alone. It is not customary in male circles to have such conversations, and it is not so easy for a psychologist to speak out. What to do after cheating. So, here is the fact of infidelity is already discovered and irrefutable. What to do. How to behave, how to act correctly, in order to adequately survive what happened. Detachment. To begin with, it is necessary to seclude yourself and remove yourself from your spouse. Well, think, realize, feel the situation. You need to accept what has happened. This will require a cool and, importantly, sober head. Alcohol is not a helper here. With him you can do something unnecessary, which you will regret later. Rest. You will need a good quality rest to clear your mind and return clarity of thought. Find an activity that will help you blow off steam. It can be extreme sports, boxing, or a quieter hobby, anything that will help distract you and occupy your head with something other than cheating on your beloved. To avoid negative consequences, remember that you should not make decisions in haste, when emotions have not yet cooled. It is quite natural that thoughts and plans can be a lot, but do not rush, give yourself time. Reasons for cheating. If your girlfriend or spouse cheated on you, there is probably a reason for it. Let's consider what is most often the reason for such a disreputable act. Lack of emotional connection. If the couple has no emotional attachment and empathy for each other, feelings have cooled, one of the partners may be looking for it on the side. Lack of communication. Sometimes spouses have an abyss in the relationship because of a banal lack of communication. This can be as a virtually complete lack of heart-to-heart conversations, discussions of events, for example, due to mismatched work schedules, lack of time, or lack of desire in any of the partners. Or perhaps there are problems that should have been discussed, talked through, found a compromise, but it was not done in a timely manner. As a result, the emotional connection breaks down, and you drift apart. Unsatisfaction in sex. One of the trivial reasons is different sexual temperaments. When one partner needs passion, adrenaline, wants to regularly practice role-playing games or sex in unusual places, and the other is satisfied with the option, in the bedroom under the covers with the lights off, it is very likely that they will look for, and find, it outside their relationship. Therefore, it is very important not only to fulfill marital duty, but also to talk, to discuss whether everything suits both of them. If not satisfied, you need to be honest about it in time and look for options to solve the problem. Material difficulties. Directly, of course, financial difficulties cannot lead to infidelity. If in other areas everything is smooth and sweet, the girl will not go to the side just because of money. But if there are other claims to the spouse, there is a possibility that the wife will try to solve several problems at once, having been in someone else's bed. In fact, this is a kind of prostitution. Revenge. Also, one of the common reasons for cheating is revenge on their boyfriend or husband. Mostly, which is logical, girls take revenge in this way for the same cheating on the male side. But it happens, so do it and just to spite the partner for some other misdeeds or actions. This is like a manifestation of internal protest. You limit my communication with friends, control my every move, so, look, nothing you will not forbid me. It is this hidden aggression and the need for confrontation in some cases leads to such unworthy behavior as infidelity. What to do if there are children? What to do after cheating on your wife? Decision-making is much more complicated if there are children in the family. When the situation concerns only two adults, the rupture of relations can be the most logical and correct decision, but for a child, divorce of parents never passes without a trace. It does not matter if he is still a toddler or a teenager, when the family collapses, it hits his psyche and undermines parental authority. Therefore, it is necessary to very carefully weigh the pros and cons of divorce in this situation. If the spouse assures that it was a mistake, while the treason was the only and ill-considered, for example, in a drunken state, she repents, it makes sense to try to save the marriage. But to do this is worth only if you are sincerely ready to forgive her. Therefore, you need, first of all, to be honest with yourself. If you know in your heart that you will always remember this act and at every opportunity to reproach your wife for it again and again, then it is a bad idea. Remember that no family has ever survived long, being together only for the sake of a child. And in those rare cases when parents have lived together in steadfast dislike, or even hatred, for each other until the children come of age, it has not added to anyone's happiness. Children are sensitive to the situation in the family, and they are unlikely to appreciate such a decision. Common mistakes. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon for men, having learned about the cheating spouse, cannot restrain themselves and act on emotions. The consequences can be very sad. Let's consider possible variants of behavior and tell you why you should not do it. Hand-wringing. Especially relevant if the wife with the lover was caught at the scene of the crime. Surely you know such stories, when a cheating husband in a frenzy beats either the spouse, or her partner, or both at once. In rare cases, unfortunately, it even comes to lethal outcomes. Of course, later, a person is very sorry for what he did, but nothing can be taken back. Therefore, it is important to keep yourself from such steps. Revenge. Change and return, a thought that also often comes to mind. And this is also not the best idea. First of all, it will not solve the problem and even aggravate it, because there is a possibility that you will continue to take revenge on each other, eventually ruining the relationship. Advice from relatives. Don't try to seek support from your spouse's relatives, they will almost certainly take her side. General family friends may also stand up for your wife, so there's no need to run out and tell everyone what happened. When it doesn't make sense to save the relationship. It's not always worth trying to save your union. Sometimes, no matter how hard it is to accept it, it will be better to let your chosen one go. In some cases it is especially relevant, consider them. This is not the first cheating. Always give a second chance, but never a third. This advice to the situation fits the situation as best as possible. Therefore, to forgive the second, and even more so the subsequent cheating is definitely not necessary. Relationship. This point follows from the previous one. If a woman has already had an affair with one lover for a long time, most likely she will go to him sooner or later. It is only a matter of time. Therefore, there is no point in preserving such a marriage. No love. Comments are superfluous. If you do not have any feelings for each other, then why do you need such a relationship? They will be a burden for both of you. Blaming the man. If a woman in her justification states that it is you, man, to blame for her cheating, with her it is better to say goodbye immediately. First, in the family always need to solve problems together. Secondly, the man cannot be to blame for the act of a woman. Yes, he could provoke, could misbehave, could even change, but only she herself decides what to do with all this. So if a spouse decided to cheat for whatever motives, that is her responsibility alone. It was much more honest to just end the relationship and walk away. How to alleviate suffering. To take away the pain of betrayal and sort out your feelings, you need to do some work. This will help to make the right decision regarding further relationships. Talking to your spouse. Of course, as with any conflict in a relationship, first of all it is necessary to talk. Discuss the act itself, its reasons, your feelings about the situation. It is necessary to honestly and openly tell each other everything that is going on in the soul, ask all the questions hanging in the air. Communication with loved ones. It is good if you have people to whom you can come with such a delicate problem. To choose your interlocutor carefully, do not open up to those whose reaction will be unambiguously negative or generally unpredictable. The purpose of such a conversation, to speak out, to formulate and voice their experiences. Do not expect to get ready advice, and if it is insistently imposed, do not follow it. You will make a decision later on your own, this is just one of the preparatory stages. From a psychologist. If you feel that you cannot cope, suffocate in emotions or buried in yourself, do not agonize, find a good family psychologist. You can go to counseling together with your spouse or alone, as you will be more comfortable. The specialist will help to understand your thoughts and feelings and find a way out. How to make a decision. When looking for ways to solve the problem, it is important to rely not only on your feelings, but also on the behavior of your spouse. In any case, it takes time for you both to digest what has happened. Approach the decision with a cool head and cooled emotions, especially if you are leaning towards divorce. Carefully consider the consequences and try to imagine the future life for this or that option. Universal advice cannot be universal, as each situation is unique and multifaceted. The main thing is not to rush into a decision so that you do not regret it later.